George Galloway.
But the back end of the pantomime horse has to be government. We don't elect Findus, we don't elect food companies, we elect government to protect us. And the reality is that not only, as you put it, did the Labour government abandon random testing of processed foods, but the Tories have cut 700 food standards officers. Now, what kind of false economy is that? What's the cost to the country as a whole? And they say, they throw their hands up and say, we didn't know what was going into the food. Well, if they didn't know horse was going into the food, what else is going into the food that they don't know about? That's the point. That's the point. And so the answer to the question, David, is the responsibility lies with profiteering food companies, yes, but the people who are supposed to regulate the activities of business in this country are the elected politicians, and they're just not even at the starting gate on that.
Okay, well, we've got two. We've got the former Labour and the current Tory. Let's come to the Tories first. Have you cut 700? Was that the figure you gave? Food
yes,
officers?
700.
I think what the Chief Executive of the FSA has made very clear, that she has exactly the right resources that she needs.
Well, she would say that. You're paying her a big salary to say that.
And we're still undertaking...
You sacked 700 officers. Yes or no?
And we're still undertaking 90,000 tests a year.
George Galloway.
They're faffing around in this debate. The Liberal Democrats and the Tories want to blame it on criminals. I may say, if it's all just a criminal matter, why did the Tories take 3 weeks to call in the police? Because that's what it took them before they asked the police in this country to start treating it as a crime. But this goes to the heart of the matter. There are consequences to deregulation. The Tories are always talking about we need to get rid of red tape and deregulate this. These are the kind of consequences that occur when you deregulate. And there are consequences to sacking public servants.
So, George,
you sack
want to let the manufacturers off the hook?
No, but I hold you responsible for what happens in this country, not Findus. We didn't elect Findus. We can't remove Findus, but we can elect and we can remove you, and I promise you,
the British
people are about to do it.
People who are potentially committing a fraud.
If you, not a blind eye, throw them in jail instead of in the House of Lords. The House of Lords is filled. I don't want a blind eye. I want you to face up to this. If you sack police officers, there are consequences. If you sack Food Standards Agency inspectors, there are consequences. It's time to end this cutting of public service workers as if public servants were some rubbish that can be easily dispensed of. My last point is this. I'm sorry, I don't want to get personal, but we have a parliament full of expenses frauds. We have a parliament that's almost always on holiday. Since I was elected 11 months ago, Parliament has been on holiday almost 50% of the time, and the rest of the time they're filling in their expenses forms. That's the face of British politics so far, including in the House of Lords.
Unless I'm
including
deaf,
in the
George,
House of Lords.
Unless I'm deaf, when you arrive, they complain that you're never there now.
I'm there every day.
Where are you?
No. I'm in Parliament every day, and my expenses are virtually the lowest in England, and people are following what I have to say because I'm different from these three cheeks of the same backside.